Hello, humans of the earth, and thank you for joining us on this wonderful day. My name is Dana,
And my name is Heidi.
and this is Fun Times with Dana and Heidi. Today we will be discussing some of the latest positive news stories, but first we have wonderful tweet of the week. This tweet comes from @MollyJemson, and she says, "You, like the letter U, you ever meet someone who is just the human form of crumbs in the bed? I think that I have,
Crumbs.
just like get out of here.
Why did
Nobody
I read
wants
this
to hear
as
about it.
crumbs in the?
No, crumbs in the bread is the logical statement. Everyone loves crumbs in the bread because they're supposed to be in the bread. But crumbs in the bed, not in this house.
What is that supposed to mean? Please decode this for me, Dana.
Like, okay, so if you do this, like if you're eating something in bed, and if you get crumbs in the bed, and you're like, ugh, there's crumbs in the bed, and then you have to take them out, and it's like annoying.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay, I get it now. I love that. And yes, I have met someone who's just in the form of crumbs in the bed.
Yes, sir. And yes,
I
ma'am.
got it.
For it depends on the gender of the person who is listening. And yes,
I
ma'am.
got it.
For it depends on the gender of the person who is listening. But yes, these people do exist, and you know what?
Sadly,
We just had to,
unfortunately.
wipe them off. Not wipe them off, but just take them off, take them out of the bed, and take them out of our lives. Goodbye. Okay. So now we are moving on. To our first news story with the wonderful Heidi. And so, Heidi, do you want to take it away?
No, just kidding.
Oh,
Yes, you
I
can.
was like, oh, okay.
And Dana was like, what do I do now? Fun Times with Dana and Heidi is now canceled. Okay.
Yes.
Just kidding. No, it's not. Okay, so for our first Olympus, fulfilling her lifelong dream. A little bit more detail to this is in a singularly uplifting modern day version of Atlas come to life, one courageous athlete recently climbed Mount Olympus, home to the ancient gods, carrying a disabled comrade to the summit with him piggyback styled. Well, at one point in our lives, we all go into Greek mythology. It's like a requirement in schools, right,
Yeah,
Dana? Or no?
I'm not entirely sure as to why it's a requirement. Like, yes, I know vaguely of these people,
I'm
but
not really
it
into
didn't
it.
really like it. But I never understood why exactly it was a requirement if we're not in Greece, and it doesn't really explain much. Like, it's just
Me
kind of
neither.
like I guess it's an important form of like literature, but we also have to learn about Greek mythology. It's very strange, but I think that at some point within your education, whether that be middle school or high school, we had to read about the Greek gods and Greek mythology. And so, yeah, just a very strange experience, but a mandatory one also. So,
Greek mythology yet, and while it may not be me and Dana's cup of tea, it may be yours, and there's nothing wrong with that. For those of
exactly.
you who are uneducated, which is not like it's
Oh my
fine.
god. Yeah, for those of you who are uneducated,
I
Heidi,
didn't
go
know how
on.
to word that. I didn't
Okay.
know how to word that nicely.
It's okay,
My
it's okay, it's
apologies.
okay.
Atlas is a guy in Greek mythology that single-handedly carries the heavens aloft, so you must imagine he must be very strong. Similar to long-distance runner Marios Giannakou, who has a long track record of taking on challenges. He trekked 168 miles across the Al Mormon Desert, and he also took first place in a frigid 93-mile cross-country race in Antarctica. So as you can tell,
Ouch.
he is a seasoned expert.
I know. Oh my god. Can you imagine running but in Antarctica? No. Oh my god. Can you imagine running but in Antarctica? And also not only running 1 mile, running 93 miles in like the freezing cold in Antarctica. That's crazy.
My failed mile run could never.
Our failed mile runs could never.
Yes. I imagine him to be
Like a super buff dude, like
he's
The
strong.
Rock,
There's
something
a
like
picture
that.
of him.
Oh, really?
He's strong. Yes. And prior to his latest endeavor, he had already successfully taken in the view from atop Mount Olympus, highest peak
Oh, that in.
No,
We're not
no.
editing it out. Yeah, yeah, we're keeping it in. I understand that you have I I I understand that you have editing rights and privileges, but this is just a gem that we're not excluding from this episode. RIP to the headphone users. It was like a sneeze and like a scream. I love that. That
Yes.
was
Okay.
amazing.
All right.
A
All
pure
right.
feat,
Very.
fit for the gods.
I'm so sorry to all the headphone users and Dana because she is using headphones right now. Very. I apologize. And yes, see, these allergies are not it. What I was saying before was prior to his latest endeavor, he had already successfully taken in the view from atop Mount Olympus's highest peak 50 times, 50 times. That's a lot of times.
That is a lot of times. Imagine. Ew. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I just got tired
I,
thinking of that.
I'm
Ew.
cringing because I could
Yes.
never.
I can never.
Yes, and when he met his 20-year, well, not his, when he befriended 22-year-old biology student Eleftheria Tessio, and he learned of her dream to experience the summit herself, it seemed only natural that he was more than ready to rise to the occasion. Because obviously he's Superman, okay? He has all these muscles and he could do it. Okay, he has all these muscles and he could do it. He can really, really do it,
Uh-huh.
mentally and physically.
Yes.
The only problem was that Eleftheria could not do it by herself due to her disabilities. And what Mario said was, for me, all international races, the medals and distinctions so far, mean little compared to that goal. And I agree with him because experiences are impossible to compare medals. To me,
Yes,
like the
yes, I
medals don't
agree.
really mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
like to me, like medals don't mean too much to me. It's the experience.
Yeah. I'm reading the outline right now. Fine, because let's have behind the scenes of Fun Times with Dana and Heidi. So, in preparing our news stories, we always prepare an outline to prepare what we're going to say so we don't
I love
sound like
typo.
mad ramblers, Mad ramblers on a podcast, not in this house.
An improv episode.
Yes, and not house.
An improv episode.
Yes, and not improv episodes. That was one that only happened once. It was very scary and never again. So I'm
I
reading the
agree. I
outline, and
agree.
Heidi put, "I agree with that because experiences are impossible to compare to the experiences." And I read that you were about to come to that point, and I didn't know what that meant. So I was waiting to see, but I'm glad that we clarified that point. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. In the words of
Some
Hannah
of us a
Montana.
little bit more. I
Yeah.
love
So
how
no, I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to give our viewers an insight into what goes on behind the
the
scenes.
BTS.
Yes, the BTS, and it's
It's
fun. Just a
okay. It's
funny
all
little
in like
thing.
a fun, yeah. It's all in a fun manner. Like I don't take any offense. I'm numb at this point.
I'm
Yes.
not. I'm numb at this point. I love that.
I like looking at my typo and I'm still laughing. Okay, so Giannikos, along with an 8-member support team, started the grueling ascent of Olympus's tallest peak, Mount Mytikas. He was not alone, which is really good because you do not want to go hiking alone. Because first of all, that's dangerous, and especially if something happens, you can't contact someone like in case of an
Yeah,
emergency.
like there's no service. You can't call 911. You're all alone
That's
up
what
in the
scares
cold, and it's
me.
just yeah, and it's just a bear comes. You have like no defense
Yeah.
except like your own body. So
Hmm.
two people is
I
the way to
agree with
go.
you. And you know what? One of my worst fears is, have you seen like those videos where people thought that they were gonna die because they were stranded, so they made like a goodbye video on their phone before they quote unquote died? They didn't die, but like they thought they were. And they seemed scared out of their minds. So I'm never gonna go hiking by myself because that's scary.
I have never seen those videos, but I would
You have
like to see
not?
your YouTube recommended feed because it's very intriguing. I know I haven't. I have
Should.
real. Are those
They're
real?
real. They're real. Like I know unfortunately this woman who did get stranded and she did pass away.
Oh god.
She had like a goodbye like video and note. And while other people they lived, thank God, they also had a video because they thought that they were gonna die because there's no cell service.
Well, then how did the other people survive?
Honestly, I heard that one person, he spelled out help with rocks and sticks so that the helicopters could find his message. Help with an
Yeah, that's
arrow.
what I would do. Or like start a fire or something. Like you have to like spell it out really big or like start a fire or something. So that the people, up in the clouds can see you and save you.
I know, it's so scary. I hate being alone. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
agree.
So he and his female friend did more than 10 hours of hiking.
Oh my
More than 10
gosh.
hiking.
Oh my
More than 10
gosh.
hours.
That's so much.
That's
In one day?
crazy.
In one day? Or like
No, no, no. Like over a few days, obviously. Like no one can humanely hike 10 hours a day, even if he is a buff SpongeBob. No one can.
yes,
No one
no
can.
one can.
Like I tried like 2 miles of mild hiking at all.
Like yeah, like the gentle little slopes of the hill with
Yeah.
the
And you know
little
what? I was
flowers there to
floored.
accompany you.
Yeah,
Like the
the
most
scenic ones.
yeah, like where the most dangerous animals like a little frog, and it was
Exactly.
just
Yeah,
it's
no,
tiring.
it wasn't even in like the middle of like the jungle. No, no, no. It was like this like visit. The scariest animal there was probably like a deer. Like not that bad at all. And I was sore the next day. I was so sore. I wonder how Mario could have done it because he was carrying another human with him.
I know. That oh my god, that's so crazy.
So in conclusion, while Marios may not be a character out of Greek mythology or Marvel or DC, he is truly a hero living on Earth. Thoughts,
Yes.
Dana?
I this man is just the athleticism is just S tier, supreme tier. Like just amazing. And we love his accomplishments and his selflessness. So, selflessness, not selfishness. Selflessness.
Selfishness, that's a good turn.
Yeah, yeah. Selflessness. Yes, I know words. Okay. Moving on to our next news story. Oh, this one was really cute. I had another one. It was kind of boring. But this one is really cute. It was kind of boring, just like because I saw this one and I topped it, and so that's the one that we're going to present
It
to
took
our
the cake.
wonderful little viewers today. Yeah, two takes, but you know what? It's fine. So, a building inspector with 2 decades. Imagine like 20. Wait, a decade is 10 years. Imagine like 20. Wait, a decade is 10 years, right?
Yes, ma'am. 10
Okay, sorry.
years.
Because sometimes I get confused, like if it's 10 or 12. I don't know. I think I get confused with like a dozen. I don't know.
Well, why
But
12?
I don't know. They're just close to each other. I don't know. But anyway, a building inspector with over 20 years of Mitchell Couch, what a last name, Couch, has helped his community both virtually and in person by building desks for students during COVID-19. So this whole thing started when he needed to make some desks for his kids because, as you know, a lot of the learning right now, a lot of the schools right now are moving. He wanted to make desks
Mhm.
for his kids so that they could have a set space to work and they wouldn't have to be in the kitchen or in the living room or on the floor or wherever. So that cost him about $50 in total and just a quick trip to Home Depot.
Only?
So it really, yeah,
Only.
yes.
Only. $50 total?
Yeah, I think it was like for
$50 total?
yeah, I think it was like for 2 or 3. I don't remember. But
Oh, okay. I thought it was like for a whole class. I was like, whoa.
no, 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 no. It was just a couple. And so it didn't really take him that long. So he was like, "Oh, look, I made these tests," and he posted it on social media. And then people like from his community started asking him like, "Hey, we don't have desks, at my house and I need to make one." So he started a YouTube channel with a DIY tutorial on how to build a desk from scratch. And then the next morning he received more than 200 messages saying that, your videos were so helpful and thank you so much. And so I think that's really cute because this guy, he's like a dad, right? He's obviously not like going to be an
An expert.
influencer, yeah, or an expert or like an influencer, on James Charles or,
Getting that
whatever.
coin.
Yeah, he's not going to be getting that coin. He really just wanted to do it to help other people. So I think that's really cute. But then that's not. So some of the family friends, Karen and David McKinney, they saw his video and they told him that if he could assemble 35 desks to help make a space for local students to learn without distractions from, outside sources, they would pay for all the supplies. And so he thought that that was a really good deal. And so the desk extravaganza commenced. And so he made this whole project is called the Couch Factory, which I think is really funny. So the Couch Factory has built and assembles 40 student desks
The
by
couch
hand
fact.
so far. Yes. So imagine, I can't even get like building one desk alone would probably take me like a whole day and I would be dead tired.
Girl, I know.
And
You
this
know, in
man,
IKEA,
sorry.
like how in IKEA they give you like basically if you buy furniture from IKEA, you have to assemble the entire thing, and it's so complicated. I could not.
Mm-hmm.
IKEA, and that's supposed to be user friendly, and I can't. So
Yes, and he made
friendly, and I can't. So
Yes, and he made 40 student desks just by hand, like just like with the hammer, like my sound effects, you know. He was assembling them, hammering in the stuff, screwing in the nails, and so probably took him a long time. So thank you to student. The desk helps separate school from home and help students focus a lot better as a result, because that way it's not like a blend of like home things and school things, so you get distracted. It's just like it helps like divide those two activities, and so it helps students focus a lot more. To help keep the project going for many other students, and Mr. Couch just hopes to make a positive change in the community. How sweet. Heidi, do you have any thoughts on Mr. Couch and his desk
yes, I
endeavors?
have. In fact, I do. Because have you heard of a study where the study shows that if someone works and sleeps at the same place, their performance decreases?
Oh, I didn't know that. Is that actually a thing that happened?
Yeah, to think, for example, if you do your work in bed and you sleep in bed, you're more than likely going to overexhaust yourself doing one or the other because there's no you sleep in bed. You're more than likely going to overexhaust yourself doing one or the other because there's no boundary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really best to separate work from school or work from home and personal life. And these desks really do that because this desk is designated for studying and performance will increase just because of this guy who really, out of the greatness of his heart, built these for his kids.
Yes. So I love that. I think it's really cute. And now we are going to move on to my second favorite segment. Besides the news segment, we have Science Talks with Dana. That is me. I am Dana. Science Talks with Dana. That is me. I am Dana. In Central America, okay, this starts off on like a really negative note, but I promise you that it gets better. Okay, so don't
Don't lose
get a
hope.
bad,
Don't.
yeah, don't lose hope. There is hope. Okay, in Central America, there are these who smuggle baby sea turtle eggs from beaches and distribute them with other people so that they can use them as a delicacy, like to eat in bars and restaurants. So, that's really sad because the poor little turtles, like they're just gonna get
Oh,
eaten. This guy stole them and they're supposed to be in the ocean. But
that's a very unique thing to smuggle because I know elephant tusks were a thing back in the day. Now it's sea turtle eggs, which isn't any better.
yes, and so, there's a whole another line of sea type of trafficking, sea turtle egg trafficking, even though it may not be common, still very sad. But not to worry, because according to a new oh my god, take this whole part out. But not to
Study,
story,
study.
it was supposed to be study. Okay. But not to worry, because according to a new study, by placing 3D printed and GPS enabled decoy sea turtle eggs known as investigators, get it? Like invest egg aiders, investigators.
Ah, yes, I love that.
So funny, so hilarious, ha ha ha. So these decoy eggs, they're 3D printed and they have a GPS inside them. They put them onto the beaches and it helps gather the evidence needed to expose the illegal trade of sea turtle eggs. So the researchers who made these devices were inspired by Breaking Bad, where in one of the episodes they also used GPS tracking technology. And so the researchers found that when they And so the researchers could track the illegally removed eggs and found the entire exchange chain with the help of the GPS. And not only that, but they also got information about where the eggs were purchased and how many eggs were exchanged. And it helped this whole this device and this invention. It helped them target the conservation efforts because the researchers are part of a conservation organization. It helped them target the efforts because they found out that the egg nappers were local, and so it helped them kind of reduce the scale of what they were doing, and it helped them effectively pinpoint where these people were. And this information is being shared with the authorities, and it also helped increase awareness in the community that there are bad people who want to steal poor little baby sea turtles and eat them like monsters from a strange fairy tale.
That's such
So
a good
yeah.
thing to have. Like obviously not thing to have. Like obviously not the egg trafficking, but the GPS thing that was inspired by Breaking Bad. And I love hearing like the origin of people's ideas. And this one was especially so fun to hear because we learned so much from like films and TV shows, and
Mhm.
all something from TV and gets translated into this huge thing that is good for the world. And I love that so much.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree. I think that, even though people are like just think science is about like just cold hard like numbers and coding and just sitting in an office, all day and not really doing much, there's also like really wholesome and positive aspects that can come out of it, and it can help, better the world, and we love that. So now we are going to move on to Heidi reviews, and I know that Heidi is very passionate about this subject. So Heidi, go ahead and tell us about what you will be reviewing today.
Sure, I expected to go on a rant about this review thing I'm going to be doing today. And guess what, guys? Today's review segment is going to be about, drumroll please, To Kill a Mockingbird. I love that so much. By
Yay.
Harper Lee. Drumroll please. To Kill a Mockingbird. I love that so much. By
Yay.
Harper Lee. And me and Dana, we were required to read this for school, but I truly believe everyone should at least read it one point in their lives. So yes, it is going to be a requirement for me, Hydra, of this book because it's so good.
Yes, it's Heidi's homework. Get to work, everyone. You need to read this book.
Heidi's homework, like get to it, please. So basically, I'm gonna introduce the plot so you guys are not like, what's happening? Like, he's talking about this book, but I don't even know what's happening. Yeah, so I'm gonna get to that plot. So basically, the main character, Atticus Finch, has two kids, Scout and Miss. Atticus is a lawyer who defends black people and white people. He doesn't discriminate when he's defending people in court because he truly believes love is love, and you're supposed to love everybody regardless of race, sexuality, and like basically what's happening today. Like you cannot judge people about things that they can't change. And while this book was written in, how long ago was it written, Dana?
I don't know. I just
Let me
know that it
Google
was
it.
written like a while back. Like, yeah, I Google it. Maybe like 50s, I think. 50s, 60s.
Oh, 1960, like in the
See?
1900s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so this happened a long time ago, but basically, Atticus was being tormented by outsiders, mostly white people, because he was defending quote unquote a black person. And it does have some expletives in it, but then this is set very long time ago. It was okay back then, and it used these words, guys. So basically, because Atticus was the one who was defending the black people in court, his kids were also being bullied by these outsiders. And like, no, you should never get mad at someone's kid because of what they're doing, which isn't even bad. Okay, yeah, I'm getting angry. The biggest takeaways of part one, because I have not finished this book, unfortunately, because I have been overloaded with lots of homework, is to lead with love, do what is right, even if everyone looks down upon your actions. Be courageous and fight battles head on, even if the chances of winning are slim. And in the story, and in the story, Atticus was called Bleep Lover, and his kids were like, like they're getting mad at him. They're getting mad at these people because that's not a nice thing to say in their mind. But then Atticus was, you can't change people's opinions. They are entitled to their own opinions. And even if they're true, like it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just what you are. You can't change what they think. So you just have to keep your head up. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how it should be today. Because unfortunately, there is a lot of racial discrimination and inequality that is very prevalent in our world today, which is very disappointing. And I thought that this would be over by now. But yes, lead with love and love everybody. It shouldn't matter their people's sexuality or ethnicity or race. Because me and Dana, we strongly believe everyone should be treated equally. Right, Dana?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Preach, girl.
Yes. So that is my review. I hope that I didn't. If not, you can add on to it because
Yes,
I don't
I
know.
think that Scout is the main character because she's telling everything through like a horror no her
Horror.
grown up perspective, and she's
That's
like
true.
recounting these events, but and it's also talks about other things, not just race. It also talks about the different,
Addiction.
yeah, like class and all of these different things. And so it's a really interesting read. It's a really fun read too, and I really like it as well. And I
Mhm.
think I read it a time before, but I just didn't really understand. I'm grown, and well, not
We
completely grown,
love the
but grown
development
more. Yes, we love the
and
character
development.
development, and I get it, and it's cute, and I love it. So yeah, great book.
Yes. So correction. Yes, Dana was right. Scout is the main character because it is seen through her eyes. It's total first person through Scout, I believe. Yes.
Yes,
Person through Scout, I believe. Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So today's motivational quote is by the Queen Victoria Garrick, and I call her a queen because she's an independent lady that does not let anything get in her way.
Mm-hmm.
And she advocates for body neutrality. And Victoria stands for self confidence and body. It doesn't matter when it comes to a person because what truly matters is that person's heart. So she says, that girl who you're comparing yourself to is also comparing herself to someone else. If we're always trying to be that girl, who's going to be you? And I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw this and I could not help but repost it on our personal Instagram, which is FunTimesWDH on Instagram, in which you should follow. Because if you do, you would have already seen this quote, this wonderful, wonderful quote. And I'm going to go more into detail about this quote because while she does mention girls, it does not apply. Everyone is guilty of comparing themselves to someone else and putting each other side by side as if it were a competition. And you
Mm-hmm.
know what? Life is not a competition. As much as you try to think it is, it's not because we're all trying our best here. So why would we compare ourselves to other people? We are all on our own paths of life and other people. We are all on our own paths of life and that's just how it's going to be and we should not bring other people down.
Exactly, yeah. Yes, I totally agree
I'm
with you. It's like this caused like a comparison paradox, Like we're always trying to be the other person, but like we're just constantly comparing ourselves to other people, but then we never get to define who we are as individuals. So we love that.
Yes, be beautiful. See what I did there?
Ha ha ha, so funny. I love that.
Yes.
So
So I'm
thank
going to
you.
do the outro.
I can do it. Or actually, no,
Okay.
you do it. You do it.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening to our beautiful and partly improv commentary.
Yes, yes, yes. Very thoroughly planned out.
Very, very planned out. We were so prepared for this episode. I promise this won't happen again. Oh yeah, you might have noticed that we did not have game time because we are on a time crunch. But next 2 weeks, it'll be back. I promise. Our website to read more about today's news stories and follow us on Instagram at FunTimesWDH. Again, that is FunTimes, the letter WDH. Thank you guys, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Hey,
Bye.
goodbye. Bye.